conservative fiscal stand. I also commend you for being able to admit when you have made an uninformed or mistaken decision. You have served the people well. Commissioners Holland, Washburn, and McIntosh, I would like to thank you for pushing me into civic involvement. I have never been actively involved beyond voting, but your decisions, which have violated common sense and fiscal responsibility, have changed me. To borrow some phrases from Thomas Jefferson, I do not fight for light and transient causes, but after a time of usurpations of power and abuses of power, which are ever more clearly apparent after the Courier story on the actions of the LGC, I could no longer remain silent. You have ignored we the people, who are the rulers in this county, this state, and this nation. Thank you for inspiring me to work to restore the founding principles of this nation. You have awakened a sleeping giant, and we the people will not rest until government of the people, by the people, and for the people is restored at local, state, and national levels of government. Thank you.
Jim Brewer.
Good evening, one and all. Once again, the predecessors have done such a magnificent job, you almost leave me without words, but not quite. If I cannot cover the issues that's already been covered, I'm simply going to say adios. So here we are, once again. You would not listen to we the people. You put yourselves in the position of being dictators. In the Constitution, as the lady said, it is we the people, not you. I hope you enjoy your retirement. Personally, I'm going to continue to serve the people of this state and any place or any position that I may be needed. Adios.
Tom Helton.
As Mr. Brewer stated, most of the previous speakers have already said what I had to say, and they've said it far more eloquently. I do have one thing I'd like to add that they haven't mentioned. The people, here again, I'm spurred on by the article in Sunday's paper. I read the paper and had to read it twice to believe it. I couldn't believe what I was reading. It never occurred to me that the Courier would present such a one-sided, biased, unethical, immoral, slanted, yellow journalism piece. Amen. But anyway, amen. The one thing people in Henrietta and Cliffside and that end of the county are angry. They are upset about losing their emergency medical center. And they should be. But what they're not getting, and they certainly didn't get from the Courier, is why they lost that center. They didn't lose it because these people wrote a letter to LGC. At the meeting where y'all voted to fund that, Ms. Crow, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, made the motion to separate those projects, vote on them separately. Mr. Holland, you didn't do that. If you had voted to separate those, your EMS station would be funded and well on its way. Nobody would vote against it. I don't believe there's a person in this county that would vote against that. I know these commissioners wouldn't vote against it. But you agreed to go along and lump it together with the ill-fated Daniel Road project. That sealed its fate. The people in Henrietta should be angry at you for not standing up for them. You donated a piece of land, which was commendable, and I commend you for that. But you didn't stand up for them and vote to get it done in a way that it would get done. You lumped it in with the Daniel Road project, which has damaged it. So you're the person they really should be mad at. And they should be mad at the Courier for what they did.
Mr. Soren Nesco.
I had intended to make my comments tonight short and simple and thank the commissioners leading the board this election for their service and time. However, this Sunday's Daily Courier front page inspired me to change my plans and to make an exception in trying to always be proactive rather than reactive. I'm making the exception because my wife's and my own name were listed on the front page of the Sunday's paper as responsible for stalling the building of the new EMS station, thus actively endangering the health of our neighbors in Rutherford County. In addition to what the article provided, let's also hear some facts. Claim 1. Naming me and my wife as responsible for the delay, let me read the actual reason provided by the LGC representative Vance Holland. Quote, since the newly elected commissioners will constitute the majority of the county's Board of Commissioners once the new terms begin in December, I have chosen not to present the new money projects for consideration by local government commission at its November 2nd meeting. The letter was available on Friday afternoon as part of the supplemental agenda document posted on the county government's website. Still, this quote didn't make the paper, nor did I receive a call from a newspaper to provide my view on the issue. Claim 2. Charging me and my wife as endangering the health of our neighbors. Here's a quote this article attributes to Chairman Washburn. We're particularly disturbed that the emergency medical service station, which would have been built in Henrietta, is being stopped by David Reno and a small band, endangering the health of the folks in Caroline, Avondale, Henrietta, Cliffside, Harris, Danieltown, and Sandy Marsh areas. Here's another quote, this time from the June 2nd, 2008 Commissioners' meeting minutes. Commissioner Hill made a motion to approve the purchase of 112 acres of a total acquisition price of $4,362,950. Commissioner Washburn seconded the motion. Back then, the paper had no quotes charging Commissioner Washburn as endangering the health of folks in Rutherford County by spending $4.4 million on new land purchases instead of building 4 new EMS stations. The paper didn't quote anyone saying that because it would have been absolutely absurd to say something like that about Commissioner Washburn. Just as absurd as saying that my wife Jennifer and I are actively endangering the health of our neighbors while simultaneously committing ourselves, my 8-year-old son Alex, my 10-year-old daughter, to cook for and feed 400 people every week in this county. Talk about absurd. Yesterday afternoon, Jennifer and I created a webpage with the facts missing from the newspaper article. We sent the webpage to friends and neighbors in the county. Since then, we've had over 200 unique visitors to this webpage and numerous emails offering us affirmation that we're on the right side of this issue. I'm sharing this not to show you how popular this page was, but to share the lesson that is to be learned. And the lesson is that the days of keeping voters misinformed by a single source of news are long gone in Rutherford County. Fact-free articles issued on the last paper publishing day before the election are no longer effective in swaying voters. Thank you.
Rose Perano. Rose who?
Rather start. I'm Rose Perano, and I am chairperson for the Frank West Park Committee, Advisory Committee and the Improvements, and I have to say that the people are very upset because we did hear that we were not getting approved, and we have been working for 2 years in this park. We have cleaned it up, spent a lot of time. We have literally run out the drug addicts and the drunks, and our elderly can walk in this park. We have had commissioners, the entire board support this. For 2 years they have been helping. People have been planning on family get-togethers, family reunions. Some of the churches are already planning on gatherings there. And then we hear that we're not getting it. We're not getting our improvements. I know they're calling it a project. To me, it's not a project. It is the county's responsibility. We are improving our neighborhood. We are citizens, and we are improving our neighborhood. And yes, we need the EMS station, and they were upset about that too. I'm just asking not to stop the project. I mean, our park is very, very important, and we have worked very hard. And we have had the help of the commissioners. All the commissioners, the entire board, not just part. I don't want to slander anybody, call anybody names. I just thank everybody for the help, and please don't stop our project. Thank you.
Mr. David Reno.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm here simply for one thing. Margaret, I first met Margaret about 4 years ago when she was on the campaign trail. She is my commissioner in my district. She has served the citizens of Rutherford County, I think, extremely well. She has been professional. She has been diligent. And she has had to labor under a problem that we have watched for 2 years. The vote was 4-1, and for 2 more years the vote has been 3-2. I want to personally thank you for standing up for us, the citizens, just like these right here. It would have been easy for you to have just gone to the House. It would have been easy not to have stood up. It would have been easy not to have kept yourself informed, but you chose not to do that. And for that, we all owe you a round of applause and our eternal gratitude. And I would like to simply say thank you, Margaret, and also to your husband, Reed, who has been so helpful. Thank you.
Okay, next item.